Welcome back to the No Tact Talk podcast, where the only rule here is to have no tact. Y'all, I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm feeling good. I I wasn't procrastinating making this, but this is the last episode of season 1. And I thought I would be don't get me wrong. I'm super excited. I'm super happy to be here. This is the 66th episode of the podcast, and it's been like a year and a half. And as you know, if you listen to the episodes at all, these ain't no 10-minute episodes. They all like an hour plus, for the most part. And this is my baby. you know. Normally there's a clip at the beginning of each episode, but I want to take this time to say thank you. This is your first time listening. If you came here through other channels and this happens to be your first episode ever listening to the podcast, feel free to skip through this. If you kind of want to know a little bit more about it, I would definitely stay. But I just want to say thank you all for the support, the subscribes on YouTube, the Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, the shares, the reviews. My baby, No Tact Talk grew into, he, whatever it is at least a toddler. We ain't no adult yet, but we walking. Like we broke out the chains just like Forrest Gump. Like we out here, okay? We out here. I'm also recording this at the same time on video, so it might be a little awkward for me doing both, which is not. It's just because when it's me talking, it's weird looking at both things, trying to make sure audio good in the video, but whatever. If you're also seeing this on YouTube, I'm probably gonna make this a second video, like a separate video rather, just so you can have it, and then I'll put this part on the beginning of the other episode as well. The one you're about to hear is an Instagram live, so the audio won't be the best, but it's very informal, which I loved. It's a great guy, so I think I do an intro for him as well on the podcast, so I'll leave that over there. But this is again the season 1 finale episode, and I'm man, your boy done grew up. We came a long way. Okay, right now I'm in the makeshift studio that I have. If you watching on YouTube, you see like the panels and the lights and all the other stuff. I've already broken most of it down because this is the last episode, and the last one was done on IG Live, so you really didn't need that much visual as far as the YouTube community. But I do have like the setup that you see it on YouTube. So but everything is down because I need a mental break. Also, this is August, so this is my birthday month, so I'm taking time for that. The last episode you would have heard is I think it came out on July 25th, and it was Soar. It was an amazing episode with Heidi. She was amazing, so definitely check that out. But I needed time to make this actual recording and video prior to putting out the last episode because I always get when I tell y'all, probably before every episode, I get such anxiety before I record. Like I pray before I record, and it's just like it's the first time I'm ever doing it. I swear I get the same like nervous feeling before I do an episode with somebody, or even if it's just by myself. It's so weird, but like even now, it's like, man, it's the final one part of it. Well, for the season, obviously, not forever, not series finale, but season finale. I always get this I'll call it evil Kermit in the back of my head, like, man, if you quit now, you might never do it again. This might not be something, and I get that feeling every time. Like I might go like a couple of days, or I know for a while I was doing it for a week, but I work was just so crazy. But so then it would come out like every 2 weeks, and I kind of make up for depending on people's schedules and stuff. So it's always this constant battle to feed the beast and to put out content and make. How social media is, making yourself relevant and doing these different type of things. But I stayed true to the course. I stayed consistent to myself. I didn't put too much on myself. Like the grind was definitely there. But it was something that grew me up. So earlier on, so I won't make this a super long intro to the episode, especially for the listeners. Again, feel free to skip through this. I'm sorry. But I want to start out with the segments that I created. So at the end of each episode, it's like probably the last, if it's your first time, probably like the last 40 episodes have had the superpower question. So if you could have any superpower, what would it be, and how would you use it to make money? At first, it started off kind of cool. But everybody will be like, yeah, I want to cure world hunger, or I want to make a hug everybody and cure 'em for cancer. So then it translated and morphed into, it has to be a selfish superpower, right? It has to be something that you want. If your name was Bob or something, right? I was like, hey, I want this to be a Bob selfish superpower. How would the superpower help you on your daily life? And so then we get kind of to the nitty gritty of like who you are. And like for me, I was just said super speed. So, for a lot of different things, and I'll make a transition to that here in a second. But super speed, I want to be fast, obviously, because physically I'm not a fast runner. I can go distance, right? But I'm not no runner, like no sprinter, right? But also in my head, I want to slow down in my head because I also came out talking about ADHD maybe halfway through. So we'll get to that here in a second. In the second part, I wanted to make sure, and I have to go back and check. I'm not sure I did it from the beginning, but I want to make sure that people always had a scripture at the end of each episode, just something to chew on. And so whether you believe in God or not, whatever your affiliation is, I wanted to make sure that people got a good word towards the end. And for the most part, I have to say it had a lot to do with the conversation prior, because I would come with my notes already ready for the scripture before we even had the conversation, but it directly correlated for the most part. And that's why you pray. And, I felt like that's kind of that was God telling me like, yeah, this is where you're supposed to be. This is who you're supposed to be talking to. The conversation you had was solid, and I'm affirming it with my word that we had prior to. So that was cold, super tough, right? I mean, all great things. So those are two concretes, but I also wanted to make sure that when you go back through the episodes, or if you're an avid listener, that you saw the growth, that you saw transparency, that I did not try to put out a perfect product. That's very important that you know. I didn't try to put out this super tailored. We all had these great podcasts, and y'all great, all good podcasts, right? But like they're all like perfect. You could tell when they edit. I can never say the word. You can tell when they edited the mistakes out, just like what I just did, or when they it was something that was crazy and they just kind of like bleed, just little crazy stuff that you shouldn't have to do. Conversations were meant to be informal. Conversations were meant to be candid and open, and that's what no tact talk is. We tend to have no tact, and so unless it was like something crazy that the person didn't want me to put in the episode, it was in there. So you got the mistakes, you got sometimes the bad audio, depending on where I was. You got even like the one you probably finna hear on Instagram, like Titan was walking around in the background. There was a lot of stuff going on, but I had made the date and I couldn't push it. So I had to take him out, and his little chain was dingling, and it was just a bunch of stuff. But that's life. Okay, I never said I was perfect, but I know that my content was key. I know that the people I had on were solid, and I stand by them. And I know that I gave you the best of me. And I feel like when you're doing anything, when you give somebody the best of you, God will bless that, and it will resonate with people. Okay. Man, we already at 8 minutes. Oh, well, again, I told you could skip through it, but I'm doing good. All right. So a lot of stuff that we talked about was God, of course, music, real estate, finances, fitness, church hurt, faith, how people view faith and Christianity, which is what I am for sure. That's why I wanted to have the scripture, right? We talked about Black women empowerment, business. I talked to business owners. My feeling on racism in this country. Ahmaud Arbery was a really good episode because I was just angry. I was talking with my friend about that. Just my instant response about how I was feeling about that, and living a purpose-filled life. COVID-19. I talked to a professional football player, musicians, estate planners, social media influencers, and a bunch of other people. So I'm going through this, man. I'm just like, yo, I have put in some time and effort and work into this. Like, this isn't just something that people start. And how everybody say they want to start something and just quit like 2 episodes in or one post in or whatever we decide we want to do, because it just doesn't get them excited. I still had anxiety about it. I still was nervous about the episodes and everything, but I did it, and I felt like God wanted me to do it. I felt like it helped me out, and as I grew, at first it was for me, and it still is, but at first it was for me, it just so I could sleep better at night. I wasn't able to sleep as well, rather, because I would have so much in my head to say that I couldn't get it out on the wax or on paper or whatever else, that I couldn't sleep at night. I'm having these crazy dreams, and ever since I started, my sleep has been getting better. I feel like I have an outlet to be heard, and to make a difference and a change in people's lives. So even if I only change one person's life from an episode, that's enough for me. It really is. It just recently I put up a salvation video, and that's another thing. Being completely open is that why did I procrastinate on making a salvation video? Like I had everything I know I wanted to put down on it, but it took me this long. I think I did like a couple weeks ago, making a salvation video. So I put it on all of the Instagrams and definitely on the website, notacttalk.com. Anyway. But you can get saved over the video, right? And I explained the whole thing. And so, like, this has become my ministry. It has grown me up through my conversations with these amazing men and women. I have matured, and I have understood different spectrums of life, with finances and physicalities and mindsets. And I feel like I'm a better man because of it, right? And this is an ADHD tip. I had I'll start with therapy first. The same, I was all encompassing, but I did a little sub series within the episodes about me going to therapy, because I think that's so important, especially for Black males, to go to therapy and to just get it out, just to get it out, get their thoughts out. So I kind of talked about, all right, I went in, talked to this lady, intakes, my first thoughts when I came out of the sessions, and so I thought that was pretty cool. And then from going to therapy, and I always told people, like, in the back of my head, there was something wrong. Well, not necessarily wrong, but it was something awry in my head, because I always felt like, and I'm not going to go too deep into it for the sake of the video, but I always felt like it was just something missing, or I needed to address. I never did until the last couple year or so, which causes conversation with my parents and different things like that about ADHD, and me having to take something for it, and how when I took something for it, I felt like a completely different person and I didn't know that it was just because I'm getting on something new that obviously you'll feel a little bit different, but everything leveled out and we cool now. But for a minute I felt like I was two completely different people, because I'm like, okay, cool, if I'm performing at this level on this stuff, and then I go back to just not being able to focus. Am I two different people? Have I always supposed to have been this way my entire life? I'm just like spiraling, right? But it's, actually trying to get into my own head. And I actually did an episode, my boy Jayon, because he has ADHD as well, and how you just live with it. And we talked about everything. But that's healing. That's a form of therapy. This entire season, for me at least, has been a form of therapy, because I have been able to get my thoughts out and talk to people and be open and transparent. And sometimes it didn't sound okay. Sometimes it wasn't the best thing to say in the moment, but I was me. And I was just telling my buds, my homeboys, that at my funeral, if they say nothing else about me, they gonna say Jay was Jay. So whether it be good or bad, whatever you think about me, whatever, right? Jay was always Jay. He was never fake. He was always authentic, and he did what he thought was right in the moment. He's very impulsive, but Jay was Jay, right? And that's ultimately all that I want for my life and for my future children, to just view me as that. I was me, and I didn't care what people thought. I was going to do what I wanted to do. I was going to do what I felt was right, and I think that's all we really can do in this life. That's all I'm going to say. But thank y'all again. I don't want to get too emotional, because, But I will be back, obviously. I don't even know. Maybe like in a month or so, maybe longer. I don't know. But I'm definitely probably going to give y'all some bonus episodes in between time. But I can't wait to see y'all for season 1. For season 2. If you missed any episodes, go catch up. Go be a part of the journey. And I promise you, by the time you finish these 66 episodes, new season will be here. There's no way I'm gonna put y'all out like that. It will be here. But with all that being said, enjoy the last episode of the No Tact Talk podcast, season 1, season finale. And I will see y'all for season 2. Peace. You know what it is. You already know what it is. The merch. We all here. We all here. I just got you in, broski. We in the crib. I'm on vacation. Last day before. I just added you in here, man. I'm not sure what happened. By this time. Hey, yo.
Damn. What up,
What's
man?
up, man?
Yeah.
We here. We here. What's up?
Not much, bro. I'm glad to be here, big dog.
I'm glad to have you here. I've been thinking about this for a while. I was like, how am I gonna end the season finale? First season. I think this is episode 64, 65. I can't even call it.
Dang.
Yeah, and these ain't no 30-minute episodes. These
For
hour
sure.
plus. you know. So I'm gonna give a little. We already officially started anyway because we're on Instagram, but I'm gonna give a little intro. I like to keep them very informal. If y'all know about the podcast, all people coming in and out, or if you listen to this, y'all know about the podcast, leave it alone. A dog in the background. Keep it very informal. But I want to say while I'm getting myself finished out, hey man, you been motivating me. You know what you
Yeah.
doing is and this is what I talk about in these different spaces is that you for one, no matter what type of environment you grew up in, I'm sorry, what type of environment you grew up in, you decide to create your own lane. You know how we grew up, kind of how in the church and everything, and being subjected to different type of stuff. It's easy to go one path, or it's easy to go and do different types of things. But that's kind of what I kind of admire about. I'm like, okay, he doing his own thing. Murray State, right, doing his stuff. I was like, creating that following. I definitely got with you when you were, I think I don't know if you said like the Bible says, I guess, at school.
For sure.
And you create that following, people catching up with you, and that's why I was like, man, okay, how can I end the season? And I said, if I had to sum up the entire season, what we do in both of our spaces is our ministry, right?
Yeah.
And you ain't got to be in the pulpit to have a ministry, or in the church, right, to have a ministry. And so what we decided to do, and I feel like everybody, if you're creative at all, you say, okay, well, how am I going to make my imprint upon this world, right? How am I going to change the game? And so when I just did before this, and if y'all listen on the podcast, y'all heard Heidi, and it's about the feeling that you get, that you kind of know when you tap into your purpose, what you're supposed to be doing, stuff like that. Hey, saying let's go, let's go. Yeah, if you listen to the podcast, y'all, this is an Instagram live, so we're gonna read the comments and everything too. Thanks y'all for joining. But I wanted to first talk about, before we introduce you officially, of course. Matter of fact, let's do that now. Tell everybody who you are. If you're not on Instagram, I keep forgetting that you're gonna be hearing this on the podcast as well. So let everybody know who you are, and we'll start from there.
Got you. What's up, y'all? My name is Ernest Josiah Kenty. My mom named me Ernest Kenty, but
yes,
when I got to college, my name actually got shorter. It went from EJ to E. And with me being out here in the real world now, I'm scared to not even have a first name anymore.
Oh wow.
but yeah, this jokes aside, grew up in Birmingham, Alabama. Went to school in the inner city at Ramsey High School, played football there, ended up getting a full scholarship to go to Murray State University.
Nice.
That's how I ended up in Kentucky. And played football there for about 2.5 years. Ended up having a catastrophic knee injury to where, I had a self-identity crisis, right? But after finding myself and on the journey of discovering who I am, I ended up having an even bigger platform than I did on the football field, off the field. So ended up discovering, my heart for cutting hair, cooking, a number of things, man. Videography, graphic design, just to have some side money.
Is that because you liked it, or was out of a necessity for what you was doing?
Bro, like, to be honest, I just needed something to fill that time where I stopped playing ball at. So,
Yeah.
I just wanted to perfect the skill, and we can get into that later on. But
For sure.
Ended up being a full-time entrepreneur in school. Ended up discovering my art to speak because, like you said, through running a full-time ministry on the college campus, and then now I serve as the vice president of the Student Executive Leadership Council of the ministry.
Yeah.
From overseeing 6+ schools in 3 different states. It's like it forced me to go out into a speaking role. So ended up discovering my love for speaking through that, and then here I am now.
So when I talk to people about speaking, because it's a lot of different ways you can run your mouth, as I said, right? So you can be on the radio, you can do podcasts, you can do just Instagram lives, you can say I'm a motivational speaker just in person.
I always want to talk about that feeling that you get, because ultimately we're helping other people. But I feel like when you starting out, really, promoting yourself and what you do, your experience, what you talk about, it has to be a sort of a therapy for yourself, right? Because I always talk about, people say it's 7 ways to do this, 5 ways to do that. It's an acronym for everything under the sun. But when somebody's listening to you, even babies and dogs, they know what real is, right? They can tell when somebody's speaking from a real place versus, he's just doing it. He wrote a book. He had a little script to write a book. He just got something out there outside just to say he's doing something.
Right.
And so I kind of wanted to know, like, what kind of got that itch for you, so you had to, like, okay, I want to speak. I want to, like, transform lives and do this type of thing.
Yeah, man, this is my life, bro. So like I wear my testimony on my sleeve. So I'm not scared to talk about, the different things that I've been through, the pain that I've been through. So it forced me to have this mentality, like, I don't go through things by myself. Like, and then for 2, I don't go through things just to say I went through things. So everybody it goes through life saying that, they things happen for a reason. I had to get out of that, because things don't happen for a reason if you don't want it to. So a lot of people go through life scared of they past, and those things, you never use them. So in essence, they happen for no reason, because you're trying to forget about those things, right? So what I had to do, it forced me to dig into my past, dig through all the things that I'm going through, and now I'm in a season of my life where I analyze the things that I'm currently going through, so that I can walk people through what they're going through, and they've been going through it for 5 years. But I'm through analyzing while I'm going through things, right? So whenever I speak, like, I'm speaking through passion, right? And I'm speaking with the same passion as I would if I was trying to run through somebody on the football field. Like, I that same thing, because I remember hearing one of my mentors by the name of Jeremy Towns, Dr. Jeremy Towns now, he played football for the Buffalo Bills, right? And I think the Washington Redskins at one point. And he said one time, from hearing him speak, he said, I want to be able to hit somebody so hard that they meet my God. So I'm like, hold on, fam. Like, do you mean meet your God by telling them about Jesus, or like really knocking their tail out? So really, I want to be able to, every time I speak, be able to implant my God in somebody, and they feel him, right? Without me even having to say his name.
That's another reason why I resonate with you too, because like growing up, and I always equate this to church because that's definitely my background, but growing up, I never really liked preachers that yelled a lot, right? I hated it. And because, and you go there every Sunday, you can almost preach it yourself, because you know what they're gonna say. They're gonna end up the last little bit, it's a whole little field, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But I just felt like it wasn't applicable to me. I needed somebody to kind of sit down. I would rather have like a long series breaking down a couple of scriptures, the why behind this type of theory, rather than somebody just make me just feel good for the moment. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And it's nothing. And again, I'm gonna keep plugging you in here, because we talked about before. I've been watching you for a minute. I was like, because when I hear people, you got the inflection. You definitely command a presence for sure. And when I'm even just seeing it, and I ain't even seen you in person yet, right? But just hearing you and watching the videos and doing what you do and taking your craft seriously, it's more than just that. And so, like, some people, man, they just boisterous just to be there.
Yeah.
But I've talked to Shannon Waldrop, he at Real Fit in Center Point.
I don't think so.
So I shot him out too, just in case he ever hear this. I used to work with him at Riviera Fitness in Center Point back when I was training. And he talked from such a place because he got shot in the head, right?
Wow.
Got shot in the head. The bullet bounced off his skull and went out the other way. Wow. And so, yeah, right. It is crazy. But I'm hearing this story every day, right? Because I'm working with him. So he's obviously telling his testimony, telling his his story about what happened. And he would tell it like it was the first time it happened. Like it's the first time he was ever talking to somebody. And so when I see people speaking, when I see people in their passion, it ain't gotta be speaking. It could be, building the house out of pencils, whatever people do these days, right? Yeah. There's a passion involved in that. And so when I make these connections like with you and other people, and I've turned down more people than I have episodes, to be honest with you.
Wow.
And people don't believe that. We ain't no Joe Rogan, but we making our movement with the podcast, right? So yeah. People like, AJ, I want to come on a podcast. I said, okay, what we talking about? I don't know. I just want to talk. I got something to say. And I'm like, okay, oh, what you got to say? Talk to me, right? And they're like, I don't know, man. And usually it's about like relationships or something crazy. What's up, man? Yeah, you put it on. I'm sorry. It's about relationships or just some like drama type feel. And they could hold an angle too. But I was like, you're not passionate about this subject.
Yeah.
And ever since I started kind of getting in my spaces or whatever, I've been dealing with people more with purpose and having a tenacity and having just something they can't hold in.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Like when you have something on you like that, you can't hold it in. Like you're not that pew Christian as people be talking about, right? You got something to say and you can't live without saying it. And so when I'm saying all this to say, like I hear that when I hear you speak. Yeah. I hear that it's with purpose. It's not just cause.
Yeah.
Or it's not because the likes or the video. And that's cool. The stuff that we do, the lights, I think we talk about the good cameras a little bit too. That's great. That's to bring people in. But why are they staying?
Mm-hmm.
Earlier on when I was speaking, they have these metrics and stuff like on YouTube, and it's like, well, how long did people listen, and how long did if this is a 5-minute video, most people would like stay for like 2 minutes or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I said, okay, well, and I'm talking to God, and I said, what am I doing that's not letting people stay the whole time? Why can't you hold the 5 minutes? Because the whole 5 minutes solid to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the beginning, I'm like, well, it's too much about me instead of impacting other people, right? Mm-hmm. And so before I keep going, what you think about that as far as like what did you do and as far as impacting the community?
Yeah, man. I say like at the beginning it was very, very difficult at first. And that was why I actually got my mentor by the name of Tony Thompson. He's a world-renowned motivational speaker.
For sure. Yeah.
So, he would always ask me like, who are you trying to reach, bro? I say everybody. Like anybody,
right.
Everybody. He was like, bro, you need a target audience, big dog. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm cool with the target audience, but I feel like I would reach more people if it was everybody, right?
Everybody,
but one thing, like through reflection, I was like, man, like if you go to the store, a person is more apt to choose their size. They're not going, if they see their size, they're not going to go from one size fits all or one size fits most. They're going to pick their size. So when you go into, any realm where you're serving somebody, you want to be able to serve your target audience well. So if like I've had multiple people come up to me and say, hey bro, like can you speak on marriage? I'm not married, bro. Like why do you want me to speak on that? So a lot of the stuff that I speak about is things that I've gone through, it's things that I've reflected on, it's things that I've mentored people through, things that I've been mentored on, things I made mistakes on, because the wisest man on earth had to once become the most dumbest man on earth to get that wisdom, right? So a lot of stuff that I speak on, I would call myself the expert on it through experience, through mentorship, through, all these different things, education. So I'm not going to open up my mouth on something I'm not proficient in, or even try to make assumptions on it to try to make myself feel like I know what I'm talking about. Because what that ends up doing is it taints my influence, and it ends up leading people astray, because they take it to where I've learned this. I know with the way that I talk, like I can make somebody believe that a rock can run. Like for real, it would sit there until that rock runs, because I've said it, right? In the way that I portrayed it. So with me using my influence, I have to make sure that I tediously do research on the things I speak about. I prepare promptly before I even open my mouth, especially when I do speaking engagements. Like I have to study that. Like those things I speak on, I have to become proficient in it.
Facts. So depending on where you're speaking at, you're obviously tailoring what you're talking about to who you're talking to.
Yeah.
And I was in the clubhouse yesterday, and we were talking about networking and how you present yourself. My topic on it was you being your authentic self. So if I obviously knew you before, we linked up for this or whatever, but think about how many times people want to connect with you and they were one way in the DM, but in person, the quality was not there.
Yeah.
And this is, I know we start talking about speaking to everybody, and we're going to get to more about him in a second, but another thing I wanted to focus on for this season was authenticity, right? It's minimal editing, I had 2-3 episodes about me having ADHD and dealing with that. So like even right now, I might be 18 different places. With me practicing, the way I speak is still bringing it back to the original topic, right? It's the hard work that we put in prior to. And for people to come up to us to talk to you like, hey, you should do this and the third, because as far as the community, people just want something. They don't know what they want yet. Think about the Apple effect. We didn't know we needed an iPod or an iPhone until they came out with it. And so it's so dangerous what especially you do, because you on the motivational speaking part, I'm just in my little space, right? But because when you have a platform in general and it gains traction, people just blindly start to follow you. And now we're held a little bit more accountable in the kingdom, to me. You don't know what y'all believe, but you're held more accountable in the kingdom. You talk about the preachers, the deacons, the people that held offices back in the day. Like God said, hey, I'm going to hold you more accountable because you're over my sheep, right? And so I commend you, I like to say, right? For one, but for two, it's just I recognize, and then I got Coach Vic coming in too. Like, he even talking about, hey, man, you need to, because he's trying to get me the motivation speaking as well. That's why I shouted him out. But he sees that in me, right? More of a mentor for sure from me. And he's like, AJ, you got something to say. So now as we coming up, there's a difference between having something to say and then like working on your gift. Because anybody can grab a mic and just speak.
Mm-hmm.
But now we have to like, okay, God, like I gave you this gift, and this is what he told me. I'm just speaking for myself. He said what you think in a second. He said, hey, I gave you the charisma and the tenacity to speak, but you got to know me better, right? And even if you don't believe in God, with whatever your craft is, you got to hone in on that craft.
Yeah.
You can have a gift to do anything, but what are you doing with it? What you think about that?
Yeah, man. One thing that I say is, let's just say this: I grew up singing in the church, right?
Yep. You tenor, bass, what?
You said what?
What was you, a tenor, bass, tenor one? What we got?
I was tenor and bass, bro. I got moved
Hey.
to my high school teacher, Miss Ross, man, Miss Myrna Ross.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, but like, let's just say for singing, right? Big dog, I haven't sang for real since I graduated high school, right? So that's a gift that God entrusted me in that I'm not actively using. Like I might do it in the shower, might do it every now and then, but I can honestly say, even though my voice has gotten, more mature, like
for sure,
if I would have kept on practicing those things, it's not too big. I could still do it, but if I would have kept on going to voice lessons and everything like that, I would have saw an increase in it, right? But now it's kind of like, okay, like, bro, you could just sing, right? Like now, if I can sing, I don't know. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I could probably have sang if I would have kept on practicing it. So like when the things that I find myself passionate about, like speaking, cutting hair, cooking, all those different things, I'm constantly looking for an avenue where I can get better at. So like I said, I was gonna talk a little bit more in depth. I go to school with me knowing how to cook for real. Like, I used to burn stuff back in high school.
Yeah, right.
Right. So what I ended up doing is, like, one of my closest friends named Niall Shinwell, he actually is like a chef. Right. So when I got to school, I'm sitting with him like, hey bro, like what kind of spices you use with that? And using my knowledge from like my grandmother, which is from the Bahamas, my grandfather from the Bahamas as well. So like all those different, avenues that I've used to basically create like a menage of different things.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, bro, I have a piece of all these different tools that I chose to embark in my life. And then the same thing. And then what I ended up doing was I monetized it. So when I saw my homeboy left, he's not selling plates in Murray anymore. I'm like, shoot, let me go ahead and boom, I'm filling the gap. I learned under him, boom, I'm in there. Then ended up learning how to cut my hair because I was tired of
trash barbers. I did the same thing.
Bro, like
charging $50 for trash. I swear I just did that in Tennessee. I got me some T outliners and some walls or whatever, and I messed it up. At the time, I was cool because I had waves, so nobody knows, and I nicked my little edge up. You know what I mean? I get it.
That's, bro. So like, I learned from Rajay Perkins. Y'all just check him out, man. A
Okay.
barber at Nashville, Tennessee. We're actually the same age. Came in to play football together at Murray State. and he actually won a barbering contest not too long ago, about 2 months ago, with nuts. When he taught me how to cut hair, once he left, they looking for somebody to cut hair. I'm like, boom, let me go ahead and cut hair. So it's me learning and then applying and stepping outside my comfort zone, saying, hey, I didn't always grow up wanting to do this, but if there's a need and I'm proficient in it, and I know that I have enough confidence to become proficient in it, I'm gonna go ahead and practice. I don't care how many times.
What do you say to somebody who wouldn't pick it up as easily, who had a confidence? Because I know a lot of people who are scared to fill a spot, especially if he give a good fade or whatever, right? I'm just talking about anything in general. Where do you get that from? Where do you get that confidence from to be able to move into that place like that?
So and we can just use cooking in barbering.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like, bro, I wasn't proficient in it. This is something that, I'm shaking, trying to cut my own stuff, right? But I did not give up. Like, you got to keep going. As cliche as it is, you cannot give up. If you make a mistake, you analyze it and sit there for a second. Because a lot of folks just like to forget about their mistakes. No, sit there a minute and run through why you made that mistake, how you made that mistake, and how not to make that mistake again. So I ended up staying there saying, like, okay, how did I make it? Then I went to my mentor within cutting hair, and I said, hey, like, how can I do better by doing this? He'll say, hey, do X, Y, and Z. A lot of times when people learn how to do better, they don't apply it. They just walk away with the knowledge. They walk away with two things: knowledge and fear, and they never get past the obstacle. They walk away knowing what to do.
Yeah,
and just scared to do it.
I believe in I call them cookie cutter statements. The same thing, cliche, whatever. Over fortune cookie cutter statements, whatever. I think they lasted this long. Like, I don't know, it's more than one way to skin a cat, right? The reason why they last for eons and decades or whatever is because they seem simple. And you can put them on a t-shirt and it'll last because people always need motivated. They never take the extra steps to do it. Mm-hmm. Like, shoot for the, what do they say? Shoot for the moon. You land among the stars, right? Y'all shooting for the clouds. You think about it, right? Think about how many podcasters, motivational speakers, whatever they are out there, right? It's your job here or your career, your purpose here. What makes you different? Shark Tank will say all the time, what makes you proprietary? Right? So even if it's building like a better mousetrap or doing something, whatever, it's like people aren't shooting high enough. And honestly, I don't think they believe that they can make it to the moon. That's where I'm at. And this is me talking to old me because I didn't believe it either. Yeah. Because it's so much to do. I'm like, man, what I got to do to, and it's not even nothing to do with the fame or whatever. It's just about what can I do to be impactful, right? What can I do to affect my ecosphere, to my own circle? How you want to be like Cardi B, but you can't even affect Birmingham or Austin or wherever you at? You trying to go global. You can't even go to the what's the thing down? What people having open house or whatever at the bar down the street to sing. You want to be a singer, but you're not even putting yourself out there. You just want to get found right quick on Instagram and let somebody make a millionaire out of you. No, man, you gotta like put in the work. And so that's another reason. Again, putting you again. I resonate with you because I'm hearing that, like, yo, especially with sports teams and stuff like that, put in the work. And I kind of wanted to ask you, actually, I'm trying to go off my notes here too much, but I had a chip on my shoulder about motivational videos with sports. And you kind of just tell me what you think, because if I'm working at State Farm, right? And I want to be motivated, I want to be the top rep or whatever they do in insurance, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. I'm watching this guy doing push-ups. You hear the rock in the back. You hear Josiah in the background, right? Motivating you, rock, whoever, right? And I'm like, okay, I see them doing the triceps with the chains. I see them out in the snow, hitting bricks, all this motivating stuff. Yeah. How do I bring it to my life? What do you think? Because anytime somebody motivates you, it's always dealing with something with fitness. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to be motivated to be great? I can't go out there and run 10 miles and then go be successful at State Farm. So what you think about that?
Yeah. So this is the thing, like, especially with any profession, right? Yeah. Like, you want to make sure that you're reaching your target audience. So whatever you know, like the speaker is doing whatever the speaker is portraying, he's trying to, or she is trying to reach that target audience. Now, if you just so happen to be in that audience and you're going to their page and everything like that, what I really urge people to do, and before I say that, the urge, I'm gonna tell you what my mentor told me.
Okay.
Everybody that's an athlete wants to make it to the next level, right? Some people that's not an athlete, they want to make it to the next level in their thing. A lot of people are nosy about, and not nosy in a negative connotation, but they really want to know what it's like to be in the NFL. They want to know what it's like to be one, or they want to know what it's like to have $1 million or whatnot.
Yeah.
Through connections, through people being vulnerable about their story, I want to ask a question. Could you possibly experience, or is it possible for you to experience their successes through the way that they talk about their story? So them saying the mistakes that they made, the work to get there, all those different things, can you apply it into your own personal life without even making it to the level that they did? So you can eventually get to the level that you want to be, because life is really simple. It's real simple. We complicate it all the times. Like the foundational presence that you need to have inside of your field is simple. Like everybody needs to work hard, consistency, you know, focus, dedication, learning how to say no, like all those different things. It lines up with the same exact principles. So I don't care if they got Yoshi off of doggone Mario Kart on there. I'm gonna sit right there and listen to what they have to say and analyze it, because a lot of people are so caught up in not taking the extra step to make it relevant inside their life. So if they're not saying, "Hey, E, this is for you," they think that it's not for them, and it's out because they don't use their brain. They don't use their mind to say, "Okay, how can I dissect what was said and then be creative enough to mold it into something that I can grasp from it?" So, like, what I really urge people to do is whenever they look at the video, don't be turned off for what they see visually. Look at what they're trying to say to you, like your inner person, that fire that you have on the inside of you. You might not, they might be saying like you can lift 1,000 pounds, but I guarantee you somewhere within that video or within that person speaking, they're going to have a piece of how they got to where they got to that 1,000 pounds lifting. Take that piece. Take pieces of the process. Don't take the result of people, because you probably, that's not your result. That's not meant for you. But the process, that's meant for you.
So what does your process look like? Taking pieces of people. Like, you ain't gotta give a whole secret sauce of who you are. I'm just saying, like, what does that look like for you as far as to get into where you at right now?
Yeah, man. So like I hated this question growing up, and I hate using the word hate. And I just said that 2 times, probably an oxymoron. But I don't really like the word hate. But I do hate when people ask me, who is your mentor? I don't have one. I have multiple. I have multiple mentors. Why? Because if I have a mentor within real estate, and that's what he went to school for, he not married, I ain't finna go to him for no marriage counseling, bro.
Facts.
Like, I'm, you know, so I'm gonna have to get a mentor in that. So what ends up happening is I go out and get the best from my connections, and I go get the best of people that can pour inside of me so I can become the best version of myself. So what I'm gonna have to end up doing in every single arena of life, I actually have a new opportunity coming up now. I'm in the search of a mentor for that. Because even though people might say, "Oh man, you're great for the position." Yeah, it was great for me to go inside of the position to get me in the door, but what's gonna keep me inside the position? What's gonna keep me there? A lot of people know how to get there, but they don't know how to maintain it. Like, because it's easier for somebody to pull you down than for you to pull yourself up and then stay there, right? So that's where that's what I would say to that.
So for somebody who does not have a mentor or is looking, what qualities should they look for in a mentor?
Yeah, I'll say find one, like ASAP. Because if
how do you do that?
Mentor, you said what?
How do you do that? I need a practical example.
Yeah, so one thing is, nobody is going to attach their name to you if they see that you're not serious. Just straight up. If you don't have anything to show for what you're looking for, they're not attach their name to you. Like, I wouldn't. Like I wouldn't want to attach the name to you. And just take it from this. We can even look at it from a spiritual component. Like a lot of us are asking God for different things inside of our life, and we want Him to supply it. If God supplies that, He knows that you're going to say thank God.
Yeah.
So He's not going to give it to you if He knows that you're not going to be able to sustain, because He's going to know if His name is going to be connected to you. So the same thing with a mentor, right? A mentor is going to be sent by God inside of your life. And I'm not this holy moly Christian or anything like that, but somebody.
Oh no, yeah, I get it.
Pulls you into a direction where God is going to be there. Like she's sent by God, right? So in order to come that first, for them to see, okay, if I pour into them, if I plant a seed in them, I want to be able to see a harvest for the work that I put in. Because I promise you, if I pour into somebody and the way that I do it, and I can say only the way I can do it, I don't know how I've gotten a lot of my mentors. I really don't. Like
I think people think they have to say, "Hey, can you be my mentor?" You know what I'm saying? Like they gotta like officially ask, and that's what I was trying to get to. Like it's not as formal as you think it is.
No,
it's finding somebody, and you tell me if I'm wrong. It's finding somebody in your space, and then what you were saying, I don't know, gloss over that. You got to be good ground to have a mentor for somebody to pour into you, right?
Yeah,
that's kind of where you was at.
Yeah. And it's not saying that you have to go out there and ask to be somebody's mentor. Continue, like if you see they're where you want to be, reach out to them about the concerning matter that you're trying to get to. They keep on responding, keep on pouring into you. It's kind of like it molds into a mentorship. It's not saying, okay, can you be my mentor? They're probably going to ask, okay, what am I mentoring you on? If you can show them what they're mentoring you on through your actions first, it's easy for them to go ahead and step into that role. Because one thing is, I don't ever label somebody as my mentee unless they label me as their mentor. It's always they label me as their mentor first, right? So like I was saying, like I don't know how I acquired a lot of my mentors unless they were referred to me. But it's work that you have to put in to be considered somebody's mentee. It's not just you taking from them and then you just living your life. No, you're gonna have to apply it and then come back with a report saying I did X, Y, and Z. This worked. This did not work. Okay, let's go back to the drawing board. Boom, 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 and I'm gonna lead you and send you off in the right direction. The mentor is not gonna work for you.
I think a big difference that people need to understand too is that they want somebody they can talk to every day, like a friend, mentor. Y'all can be good. Y'all can even be best friends. Come to your wedding, whatever. But it's not really meant. If y'all have that relationship, because it just takes that for whatever you're doing, mentoring. Sure, I work in the same spaces, but I feel like most mentors, like it's a check-in. All right, bro. At least for me, it is. All right, what we doing? Last time we talked, we had lunch or whatever. You said you're gonna do A, B, and C. How we do it? Gave you the tools, whatever else. What have you done to do that? It's more like a guide. But people think. I personally don't think, unless you got like a counselor, so I don't know. Like mentors are meant to really be there emotionally for you. Again, for me, they can be in spurts, but like, he ain't your homeboy, she ain't your homegirl. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be like that, because then it kind of breaks that cycle, right? Like you're saying, it's with marriage, then we might start talking about his marriage or her marriage or whatever, and kind of getting down deep into it because y'all had that relationship. But if it's in real estate, why are we talking about my wife? You know what I'm saying? Like that's what you said. So like, I think this is a very good topic that people really don't talk about enough, about mentorship, because they want to have the they want to have a plug, they want to write now, they want that hand up, that help out, but they don't have anything to bring to the table and have the quality to do whatever. I don't know why my dog acting so crazy.
and
it's part of it though. It's season finale, baby. I don't even care.
That's it. Yeah, I've come.
You said what?
My mentor, like if I have like, let's just say my motivational speaker mentor, right?
Yeah.
I've come for, and I have the courteousness to be able to say, okay, like I'm dealing with this right now, bro. Have you dealt with something remotely close to it that kind of took you away from the main goal that you have right now? So it's keep on topic of the problem at hand, saying that, okay, I'm a motivational speaker. I have things that I have that concerns that, but I have this underlying factor that's preventing me from getting what I want to get done. have you had something similar inside of your life where it was kind of like preventing you from doing that? How did you navigate through it? So even though you're still getting it's kind of like you're doing your mentor a favor by continuing to tug at their expertise. So they might not be they might not be able to help me with the problem at hand, but they give me the tools in order to navigate through what I'm going through. And then I'll slide to my other mentors saying, hey, they're proficient in this. Let me go ahead and attack the problem right here at the root. But with me, what I'm trying to accomplish, I just need to know how to navigate through it right now.
Wow. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. So what do you think would be the, and being, let's just make it a broad statement, because I'm trying to make this palatable for a lot of different audiences. As far as success, right? What do you think being successful is? Let's just start there. Your version of success.
Yeah. I don't think success is, well, I'll just say for me, success is how far my impact can go within the generation. That's my success. Like, I want to know if I can impact somebody at a level where it resonates with them, and they impact their kids, impact their mother, they impact their father. Like, how far can my impact go? That's success to me. Like, success is not, what's in the bank account. Success is not, how many shoes I got. Success is not, what you can do from an economic standpoint. It's not that. It's about how impactful can I be on a person, and then see the after effects from generations to come. So like, I can find success within, a relationship. Can I be impactful enough to say, like, when we have kids, when they get married, have kids, it's like, okay, can I see that success within our children to embark the same things inside of them? Can I see success within my family, within my mother and father? The things that we've gone through, can I see that same level of success through a football team, students, all those different things? That's my success. That's it for me. Everything else is the byproduct of becoming consistent or remaining consistent.
So what about ambitions? What does that lie in being successful? Because I feel like it can be a good word or a bad word, right? Our ambition can take us a lot of different places, especially being men, right? We did a lot of pride, ambition, and ego. I think everybody wants better, but I don't think people have thought about, okay, what am I really going for? And I get it. That's a great answer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to impact people what I do as well, but I'm trying to think selfishly sometimes. I think that's natural. I think it's healthy. A lot of times is to think selfishly, be like, okay, what does Jay really want? And I know it's true and it's good, and like I said before, when it ends up helping other people, right? But I still need to be fulfilled. And I think that people kind of get that mixed up and misconstrued, and like, hey, I've got ambitions to be, I want a G-Wagon, I want this, I want to be able to, and people don't get it, right? We hear the Jay-Z's and they'll talk about him like, yeah, I want to be able to have enough money to help other people.
Yeah.
And like, man, it's easy to say that when you're rich. It's easy to say that when you already got it, you already a billionaire. Yeah, you got to do anyway. You might as well help folks. They don't have that mindset for it, right? That's what I've been trying to transfer mine to as well. Like, how do I get to that mindset to where, like, hey, cool, I'll reach my precipice, or I'm in the space where I want to be. Obviously, you grow. You never want to stop growing. But I've reached in the area that I want to be in. Now I'm trying to give back. Do you think ambition kind of hurts or helps in the area?
No, I believe it helps in a sense, because like in from my previous statement of saying, my success is predicated on how much people I can impact.
Yeah.
If I'm broke, the level of people I can impact is like very minimal, right? So I'm not saying that are not important, because they are. Because I feel like if I have, let's say, 10 people that's starving on the side of the road, right? Nobody that's scamming, right? Because we got some scammers out here, you know what I'm saying? But legit starving.
Right.
I only have enough for my meal, and my heart is telling me that I need to impact their life for a certain I need to impact their life at a certain level.
Yeah.
Why am I up here trying to give them a full keynote and they starving? Right? I don't need to be like talking to them. And this one of the problems I have with, I don't want to say the church, but I say believers, people that's religious or something. Sometimes we can be so religious or spiritually inclined that we're no earthly good. So you see somebody on the side of the road, they down and out, or you even have a friend that's down and out, if you have like $30-$40 in your bank account, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, I don't have a bank account, but and they ask you for $5, and you say, or they don't even ask you for it because it might be their pride, right? They'd be like, man,
Right.
I'm just going so much,
just
like,
whatever you got, yeah.
Make it, like, boom. You really expect an impactful person, truly impactful person, to sit right there and pray for them. Like, bro, they ain't trying to hear no prayer right now. Like, we can pray later. Let's go ahead and take care of the problem, which is, let me go ahead and get you a $5 meal from Doggone Cookout, right?
Yeah.
Like, feed them first. We can pray later. Like, and that's a problem that I have with a lot of people, is that, you know, we end up going through life wanting to pray for everybody, but like, do you have enough capital? Do you have enough funds to be able to supply those needs first, and then let them know how to maintain those things, how to go out and get it for themselves, and be able to share with them, you know, how you were able to do it, which is through God. Like, for me, that's through God, through consistency, through the principles that, you know, I learned in the great book.
So, and I'm gonna tell, I love this. This is flowing perfectly for me. Yeah. Do you feel like that you had to reevaluate your relationship with God? Is it from stuff like that? I've done a lot of episodes on like church hurt and people dealing with the church. We all know how it is. I ain't got to go into that. Yeah. Because I was raised up, obviously, kind of very. I feel like very similar to you, two-parent household. We all have our drama and stuff too, but I was raised up to believe, have those foundations. But it's different than believing in mama God, daddy God versus, hey, now I have a personal relationship, right? Do you what was it like for you? Because I always just say, I can't even think of a right way to say it. After I came back to Christ, had a renewed relationship or whatever, like, do you think you had to do that, or was it just good to go from the start?
Man, bro, when I came from high school, like, you know how I came from high school, bro. You know what I'm saying? Being in church, singing on stage. And one thing, you know my cousins, you know what I'm saying, Melvin, Nick, and everything like that. Bro, we used to be in the club the night before, bro. Get in around 3
absolutely, yeah.
Bro, come in, got to be up for church around 4:30 because, you know, our parents be there first.
You better not be late.
You know what I'm saying? So we there, but that's the type of life we was living, bro. So, like, because we was made to go there, we made the choice to go to the club, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, like, and I ain't saying nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? No. But the type of stuff that we was, you know, embarking in, bro, it probably wasn't the best. So, like, when we end up getting to when I ended up getting to college, it was like, oh yeah, nah, I'm gonna make a choice not to really have anything to do with God. I say this, bro, football was the only thing that kept me close to God, bro. In the way that I felt like I needed to, because I used to make deals with that man. Like, if I try to do better, bro, give me a touchdown on Saturday, bro.
Thanks.
If I do X, Y, and Z, bro, let me lead the team in tackles. You know what I'm saying? Like, all those different things, bro.
Yeah.
And end up having a come to Jesus moment, you know, and in that moment, bro, I just felt all the way empty, bro. All the things, because it was my scholarship was on the line at the point, bro. They were like, I was hurt at that moment, so I felt like I didn't have any healthy coping mechanisms. So when I got to that point, bro, I was like, yeah, my mama wasn't answering, bro. My grandma wasn't answering. My daddy wasn't. It was at that point where it was like, bro, if one more person don't answer, bro, I might end it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was at that point, bro, and nobody would answer. But I was like, bro, let me just go ahead and try to talk to Pops, bro. And what I mean by that is Daddy God. You know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and talk to God. Right? End up talking to him, bro. And, you know, I made a promise to him. I was like, bro, like, the type of influence that I have, you know, I'm going to say that influence from trying to be the life of the party, bro. And I'll be the life of somebody's life, bro. And they living through death. You know what I'm saying? Let me be somebody's life. So made that promise then, bro. And not saying that my journey was perfect, but, like, through me making the promise to God like that, bro, one thing that I never did again was talk about somebody in a negative light. So cracking on folks, like, where we from, versus Bible.
Oh, yes, like, for sure.
Hey, roast somebody, roast it. And it's straight up, it's no remorse. So I never, since then, bro, I haven't talked about anybody else in a negative light. So when I found my relationship with God, bro, it just continuously keeps getting better. It's something that you never master, bro. Never. Like, you never master your relationship with God. And I feel like a lot of people, if they feel like they mastered it, bro, they probably further away from God than you probably think.
It's just getting back on the road. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If we talk using that as an analogy, like it's again, it's a pilgrimage, just trying. I feel like God He respects us trying. And a lot of people think we got to be perfect. We got to just stop doing everything. And I always use the analogy, which I've gotten in trouble for, which is weird. I don't know. But I'm not using the analogy like, let's just say sinner. I used to say stripper, but for the sake of the Instagram, it's not up to the people in the church to change the person. So let's say she's coming in a bikini, and then next Sunday she got a shirt, right? Because she was loved in the bikini. Was she in a long dress? Obviously, we in a public place. Again, I gotta say that for the people that's trying to like fight the argument, because I always get people emailing me like, "Yeah, man, what about this, and this?" Like, just relax. Anyway, so the the idea around it is let God transform that person.
Yeah.
I used to try to be the person to be the end game for everybody. No, God will put on my heart to get somebody like to see, like you saying, or like bless somebody, pray with somebody. But I'm checking in. Hey man, you in the church? And that's good. But I'm trying to make sure it's stuck. I'm trying to make sure it's like Velcro, right? Like, nah. God was like, it ain't your job. Like, it is, but it ain't. You've given the gospel. You was a step on a journey to knowing me, right? Sometimes all you will have is one conversation. This is what I believe with somebody to impact their life forever, because they're going to remember that conversation forever. And I know because people will come back years from now. Hey, I heard the podcast when we talked 6 years ago. Boom, boom, boom. And speaking of going through, bro, I was in it then. They didn't happen to catch you on a good day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, God's good, blah, blah, blah. But they took that conversation and held it forever.
Yeah. You
would be surprised. And so for me, very similar. It wasn't in college because I was crazy in college. But, I had to like live and get on my own and, be struggling with rent and different type of things, messing with these women and stuff, bro. Like, I said, something got to give, because I just felt stuff pulling on me from every different direction.
Yeah.
I'm worried about like STDs. I'm worried about girls getting pregnant. I'm worried about drama with my family. I'm worried about pornography. I'm worried about everything. And like, God, I'm not saying He put me in a situation, because I feel a lot of times we do it ourselves. But I was just in this place where like, yo, some just got to give.
Yeah.
Some just got to give, because I can't keep living like this, right? We chasing these moments of chasing these moments of sin and just to feel good for like this night or for 30 minutes, and we're not really fulfilled. I'm like, man, I ain't never gonna get that. I ain't got no, I ain't got much money as everybody be talking about. Everybody who talking to me, got it good. They all older and stuff. They already been through this stuff. They don't understand what it's like to be me. Everybody always say that, right? You don't know what it's like. My sin bigger than your sin. You ain't dealing with what I'm dealing with, Jay. And I'll say the same thing now, because I don't want the perfect preacher or the perfect mentor. I want somebody who's been through some stuff. I want your track record. That's how I talk to my mentor. Like, what how you grew up when you was 20 something? What was it like for you? You know what I'm saying? Because I want to see the dirt first before I can believe you. That's just me, because I've been through a bunch. Mm-hmm. So if and God bless you, if you went through your life and didn't have that many issues, you always went to church, everything's peachy keen, you just dealt with regular stuff, that's great for you. God bless you. You actually listened when I didn't. But we can't resonate. You're not here. For people that's listening, we're not eye to eye, right? So that's what I feel like people need to get to. Like, I felt, we just talk about lukewarm Christians, and all this stuff goes hand in hand. Like, you ain't even gotta believe in God. Like, you swaying left or right. We can even break it down to morality. You're not being a good person. You pick and choose when you wanna. All right, nah, man, this is my line. I might sell crack to so and so, but I ain't gonna sell to Miss Johnson down the street. Even villains, bad people got a line, right?
Yeah.
But when you teetering, that line get a little bit lower each time. Mm-hmm. Right? And so I just thank God. I say it here right now. Like, I just thank God that my line wasn't too much lower, so I was just too far gone. And that's the impact. What you were talking about. That's the impact I want to make, is because I know I was pretty close. I was right there, and I just want to be able to, through the gifts that God has given me, to impact other people. And that's what I feel like that you're doing, man, every day. Hey, I know you watch each other, we keep up with each other on social media, but I just want to say publicly, man, I love what you're doing. I know that it's your purpose. I know that God got way more for you than this. You know, this is just a foundation. You're just building it. And I want to encourage you and the people that's listening is that because when we're on this journey, when we feel like, okay, it's good, I'm building some traction, right? It gets a little scary. And maybe it's just me. I can never speak for nobody else, but especially, you know, how when some good happens for so long, you're like, man, this is weird. You get one phone call, oh, I'm here now. You get one phone call, oh, man, we booked, baby. YouTube videos doing good, blah, blah, blah. And it just feel weird because we raised up hearing about the struggle and seasons and life, and that happens and stuff too. But like, I encourage people like to live in the good parts too, because that means that you did. I'm talking to you now. That means you did something right along the journey, and you was like, just like you said before, like, all right, God, I'm coming back, but it was your way, and it wasn't the parents' way.
Yeah,
and you gonna be able to say that, hey, yes, I had this foundation, love your parents, but like now I'm gonna tell Junior here, or I'm gonna tell my little girl, like, no, this is how we do it over here, because boom, boom, boom. And so, like, I ain't taking too much of your time. We got 7 minutes. I ain't going to hold it before an hour. I know you're busy, man. And but I just wanted to encourage you, man. I said I appreciate you for doing what you're doing, and thank you for being on the podcast for sure.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Yes. Any last thoughts for the people out there for the season finale of the No Tact Talk podcast?
Man, bro, it's just a blessing to be here, bro. And one thing is, like, if anybody is struggling, because I actually forgot to say it, man. If anybody's struggling, you know, finding their identity, like just in Christ, I feel like I struggled with it for a long time because I felt like I had to be a certain way, talk a certain way, dress a certain way, and that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? Like we always get so caught up with the status quo, what people expect from you, and there should be a high expectation on you. That's where accountability comes from. But keeping your raw, authentic self, that's how you're gonna reach the people that God really wired you. And I say wired because nobody can rewire you. Like he wired you to reach that type of people. Like I talk with a strong accent, right?
Yeah.
Even though you can hear it, and I had to work through it, right? To be like, okay, I can't talk this bad. Nah, it was bad. It sounded like
I'm traveling the military, same thing. Like, you country, man, chill out.
Terrible, bro. So like I had to go ahead and be like, okay, I need a balance here, right?
Yeah.
I can still talk the way I need to talk, and still keep my authentic to let people know where I'm from, right? So and I know a certain way. If I talk a certain way, that people say like talking proper. If I go talking to somebody like that, like, bro, what happened to you?
It's not gonna come off as authentic, right?
Yeah, I don't want anything else to do with you, right? So I'm embracing where I came from, but I'm also letting people know, hey, like, and letting myself know that I've grown since you last saw me, right? So I'll say that, man. Remember to be your authentic self, but also take bits and pieces on where you're going and where you've been, and make that raw, authentic collage of what, you know, God is molding you to be.
You heard it here first. This how we ended it, baby. Thank y'all for coming on the IG Live. And if you here with me, follow my boy. If you here with him, follow me if you want to. That's cool. But I wanted to make sure this last episode was fun. I had it on IG Live. Make sure people got to kind of time in and tap in and chime into the conversation, everything. Thanks to everybody for the fire emojis and saying, let's go E and going back through. That's good. So I love it, y'all. This is it. This season 1. Just in case you don't know, like, this has been a long time coming. I think I've been doing this about a year and a half now, at least for season 1. I just talk about being consistent. I came out with a little funny video about when I made it to a year of 52 consecutive episodes, you know, from an hour and a half a piece, doing what I feel like God's called me to do. And just a little tip as far as purpose before we go. It shouldn't feel like work. This does not feel like work. You know what I'm saying? Like, your passion should obviously help other people, but it should be something that you just motivate to do every single day. And that's just a good indicator of what it is right there. But it's season 2. I probably do a little verbiage at the end, but thank you, man, again for coming on. Enjoy the rest of your day. This has been another edition of the No Tact Talk podcast. As always, a reminder to live life on purpose and live a little no tact in your life. Peace.